Namaskaram to all, and welcome to one more session. Straight away, we will start without wasting much time. Chaturmukha samarambham vagbhadacharya madhyamam asmadacharya paryandam vande guru paramparam ragadirogan sadada anushaktan asheshakaya prasrutan asheshan औत्सुक्यमोहारदिदाञ्जखान यो पूर्ववैद्याय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. So we were looking at the Nimitta Karanas in our previous session also. And we saw that when there is a pradibandhaga, the Nimitta Karanas, they become weak. Sometimes to that extent that they are not becoming, or they fail to become the efficient cause. Their efficiency will be challenged. So the absence of pradibandhaga or pradibandhaga bhave karanatva. So that is very important, because when there is and that is what we saw in the case of that Chaya Prakopa Prashama. In that, in those lines, we saw that Chiyade Leghurukshabhihi Oshadhibhihi Samiranaha Tadvidhaha Tadvidhe Dehe Kalasya Aushnyadu Nakupiri. Kalasya Aushnyadu, that is the Pradibandham there. So when that Pradibandham is removed or when going away, then that Nimitta Karana is becoming the really efficient factor. So that is what is happening in the Varshartu. In the Varshartu, that Pradibandham is gone and Vayu is pushed further forward to the Kopavastha. And in Sharat, what happens? In Sharat, there is no support at all. The Nimitta Karanas, they no more enjoy that pradibandhaga bhavatva. So what happens? Vayu comes back to the samavastha or shamavastha, swasthanasthasya samada vikara asambhavaha shamaha. So the status of Kala works as the Nimitta Karana, and it shows the efficiency to influence the Samavayi Karanam, that is Vayu, to take it to the stages of Chaya, Kopa. And when it becomes inefficient to influence Vayu, then Vayu comes to Shamavastha. Actually, in Shamavastha, it is not just about the inefficiency of the Vadakopa Nidanas, but actually at that point of time, Vayu is coming to the Samavastha. Then another set of Nimitta Karanas are in operation to bring the Vayu to Shamavastha. That is another case. We will not complicate bringing all them together. And that is happening in Sharat Kalam, and that is why there is Swabhavika Shamanam of Vayu. Okay. So we were discussing about the Hina Mithya Adiyoga of Kala, Artha and Karma as the Nimitta Karana. I think as Ayurvedic practitioners, we should have some more idea about the Hina Mithya Adiyoga as well as Kala Artha Karma. This is very important. Why it is important, that I will come to it later. First, let us see what is this this idea, original idea is. So, Hina Mithya Adiyoga of Kala, Artha and Karma. The yoga here means, what is the meaning of yoga? Yoga is a word which is having maybe hundreds of meaning. Many meanings can be there for yoga contextually. As the context is changing, there will be a different meaning. In particular to our context, yoga means some sort of an association with or engagement with. So we are looking at the type of association or engagement that a sharira, and that sharira is samanaska sharira, sendriya sharira, or in total the individual is having with the kala, artha and karma. The type of engagement that an individual is having with the kala, artha and karma. And we see three words: hina, ati and mithya. Hina means something which is inferior or suboptimal or less than what is supposed as normal. That is what we call as hina. And hina yoga means that sort of an engagement with something which is suboptimal, less than what is supposed to be the optimal one. And when it comes to kala, it becomes a suboptimal engagement with the kala. And kalam in our present context is Ritu, which is having the sixfold understanding, which is basically a division based on the distribution of Shita, Ushna and Vrishti. It is based on how the Shita, Ushna and Vrishti are distributed in a particular segment of time. And in the Hina Yoga of Kala, the engagement of a Sharira with Shita or Shaitya in a otherwise established Shita Ritu is suboptimal, less than what is expected. In the same manner, Hina Yoga with the Ushna Ritu and Varsha in Varsha Ritu are also to be understood. A suboptimal engagement. And in Adi Yoga, what happens? It is an over or excessive type of engagement. It is an excessive type of engagement. So, in a Shita Ritu, what happens? If the Shaitya is quite excessive than normal, it is an Adi Yoga. Similarly, Ushna and Varsha also should be understood in the same manner. Somebody is creating some unwanted sound. Please mute your mic. Otherwise, it is causing a lot of trouble. Yamini Sindura, please mute. Mithya Yoga is explained as Viparita Swalakshana. Mithya Yoga is very interesting and important. Mithya Yoga is explained as Viparita Swalakshana. So the engagement here becomes somewhat opposite of what is expected in that particular Ritu. In Ushna Ritu, it may be raining or snowing. And in a Shita Ritu, it may be scorching sunshine and so on. We are discussing with these situations very seriously these days, like climate change, global warming, and all these things. So that is about Kala. Now, as far as Indriyarthas are concerned, the yoga of the Indriyas, the Pancha Indriyas, with the corresponding Indriyarthas is taken into consideration. For example, when Karna Indriya is not engaged or very, very rarely engaged with its artha, that is Shabda, it is called Hina Yoga. It is called Hina Yoga. And when it is in excess, that is continuous or loud Shabda, it is Adi Yoga. When Karnendriya is exposed to Dushta, Atyucha, Parusha, Bhishanadi Shabdas, Dushta, Atyucha, Parusha, Bhishanadi Shabdas, then it is known as Mithya Yoga of Karnendriya. Dushta Shabda means words of hatred. Atyucha. Atyucha means it is not just about Abhiyogam, but unbearably high. Atyucha. Parusham. Parusham, harsh words. Bhishanam, threatening words. So such an engagement is known as Mithya Yoga of Shrotrendriya. In the same way, we should understand the remaining Indriyas as well. Now, coming to karma, we all know that it is further divided into Kayika, Vachika, and Manasa karmas. Kayika karmam, Vachika karmam, and Manasa karmam. Here also, we should understand the Hina, Adi, and Mithya Yogas in all these three levels. And from what we have seen so far, the Hina and Adi Yogas may be explained in somewhat an easier manner. When the association of an individual with the Kayika karma is Hina, that is, he is doing nothing or doing very, very little physically, that is a case of Hina Yoga of Kayika karma at the level of Kaya. And excessive engagement, heavy, continuous, it is Adi Yoga. In the same manner, we can understand Hina and Adi Yogas of Vajika karma, Hina Yoga of Vajika karma, Adi Yoga of Vajika karma, and Manasa karma also, Hina Yoga of Manasa karma, Adi Yoga of Manasa karma as well. Mithya Yoga represents inappropriate engagement. Inappropriate engagement. Vegodhirana dharanam, Vishamanga cheshtanam. etc. are examples of Mithya Yoga of Kayiga Karma. Vegodirana Dharanam, Vishamanga Cheshtanam, etc. are the examples of Mithya Yoga of Kayiga Karma. Speaking of jealous words, spreading rumors, Ardhabhukta Bhashanam, etc. are examples of Mithya Yoga of Vajika Karma. Mithya Yoga of Vajika Karma. Ragam, Dvesham, Bhayam, etc. are Mithya Yoga of Manasa Karma. Examples of Manasa Karma. Now, when we are dealing or discussing with so basic aspects like this, I can visualize the eyebrows of many people are going up. Are these information valid? Is it important to discuss all these rubbish aspects when we are discussing about high level of Nidana in the medical practice? Does it make any sense to invest time on these sort of inquiries? See, during our early training periods, though we may be studying all these ideas by heart, hardly we take them seriously. We do not take them seriously. But it shall be understood that these are very, very essential components of a complete clinical practice. These are very, very essential components. And when you look into the Samhitas, we will find that Acharyas were bold enough to make tall statements, as we saw in our previous sessions, that these are the Ega Karanam of Rogas. Very bold statement. These are the Ega Karanam of Rogas. So something should be there, serious, isn't it? But unfortunately, we have some inherent problems. It is not about Ayurvedic people, about Indian mind. There are some inherent problems like this. When we really have something with us, we will not look into that until and otherwise others start admitting it or acknowledging it. There is an inherent problem of Indian mind, especially Ayurvedic mind. We will not be confident enough to present our case with confidence. We will not show that sort of a confidence level. That is one inherent problem. Another problem is to please others. We will say that there is nothing in Ayurveda. All the stuff is rubbish. We were seeing some senior professors of prestigious institutes like Banaras Hindu University claiming that there is nothing in Ayurveda. Ayurveda Shariram should be put in the dustbin. That is another inherent problem. And another inherent problem is that we go to the level of extreme bhaktas and over glorify what we think as we have, what we think as we have. We may not be knowing it. Still we claim that everything is in our scriptures. Everything is there in Charaka Samhita. Everything is there in Sushruta Samhita. We will not learn Sanskrit and we will not put any effort on studying it. Still we will share a WhatsApp message n number of times, which claims that Sanskrit is the most advanced language in the world and the best suiting to work with artificial intelligence. And the American agency NASA is using these Sanskrit scriptures to develop its space shuttles. We will spread this unconditionally, but we will not invest even 5 minutes a day to learn Sanskrit. So these are all our inherent problems. Forget it. Come back to our subject. And one thing I will say, that any of these inherent issues are not going to help us, and they are rather destructive to the core. So we have to be very logical, very critical, and very neutral. Coming back to our issue, see, we have all these beautiful ideas of Hina, Mithya, and Adiyogas, of Kala, Artha, and Karma, which is explained in the basic Nidana, explained as the basic Nidana of all Rogas. And it is quite an amazing idea which gives the Vaidya a holistic perspective, a total, a complete view of the disease process, which is so unique. And every single point explained in this context, if understood properly, will act as an eye-opener for a Vaidya in his or her formative years. It is a promise. Focus on these aspects during the very beginning of your training, and it is a promise that it will be an eye-opener to your training. And I would like to highlight those verses of Acharya Vagbhada in this regard, which will be easy to by heart. If you look into the lines of Ashtanga Hridaya about what is told, I will just recite what is explained in Ashtanga Hridaya. This will be nice to listen also, even if you may not be getting all the ideas in a single go. In the chapter called Dosha Bhediyam, Vagbhada has beautifully explained these ideas. Sutrasthana. So, Hinaha, Adi, and Mithya. Hinorthenendriyasya alpasamyogaha svena naiva va. Hinaha arthena indriyasya alpaha samyogaha svena na eva va. Svena arthena alpaha samyogaha na samyogaha eva va. That is Hina yoga. Adiyogo adisamsargaha. Adiyogaha adisamsargaha. Then Mithya yoga. Sukshma bhasura bhairavam atyasanna adidurastham vipriyam vikrutadicha yadakshna vikshate rupam mithyayogaha sadarunaha. So, Sukshma bhasura bhairavam atyasanna adidurastham, atyasannastham adidurastham vipriyam vikrutadicha yadakshna vikshate rupam mithyayogaha sadarunaha. So, seeing or exposing the indriya to get engaged with these sort of arthas. Atyasannam, adidurastham, sukshmam, bhasuram, bhairavam. So when looking around, actually we will be shocked to see how seriously we are misusing our indriyas. It is not, at least I will try to complete that sloga in next 5 minutes. Evam atyuccha putyadin indriyarthan yatha yadham vidyad. Evam Atyucha putyadin indriyarthan. Atyucham pudi adin indriyarthan yadhayadham vidyad. Kalastu shidoshna varshabhedad tridhamataha. Sahino hina shidadi. Sahino hina shidadi. Hina shidadi is called Hina Yoga of Kala. Adiyogo dilakshanaha. Adiyogaha adilakshanaha. Mithya yogastu nirdishto viparida swalakshanaha. Viparida swalakshanaha. Opposite of swalakshana is known as Mithya Yoga of Kala. Then Kaya vak chitta bhedena karmabi vibhajed tridha. We have already seen Kayadi karmano hina pravrittir hina sapnyakaha. Hina pravrittihi hina sapnyakaha. Adiyogo divrittischa. Adiyogaha adivrittihi cha. Then Vego dirana dharanam Vishamanga kriyarambha Padanaskhalanadigam. Vishamanga kriyarambha Padanaskhalanadigam. Bhashanam sami bhuktasya Ragadvesha bhayadicha. Karma pranadipadadi Dashadhayacha nindidam. Mithya yogaha samasto sa vihava amutrava kritam. Mithya yogaha samastaha asau iha va amutra va kritam. All these things are mithya yogas of karma. So, pranadipadadi dashadha yacha nindidam karma. We have seen it. Pabam karmedi dashadha kaya vang manasa istyajed. Himsaste anyadha kama paisunya parushanridam sambhinnalabam vyapadam abhidya drigviparyayam. We have seen it. And at one point we think that all these things are just rubbish. These are all religious practice, ritualistic stories. Throw them away to the dustbin. It's not like that. This is what actually human life is. And this is how human beings are getting sick. So an Ayurvedic practice is trying to accommodate every aspect of human life, every minute of human life into the consideration of whether he is going to be sick or not, or how to maintain the health. So that is the beauty of Ayurveda. So every aspect of all these things are taken into serious consideration and brought on to your clinical table. These are not going to be the answers in the examination paper, but these are all going to be brought into our clinical table. It was in 2021 that the first case officially approved. First diagnosis came. I think it is in a Canadian woman that one case was diagnosed as climate change. A lady with a respiratory distress was diagnosed as having problems of climate change. See, now we are alert. Now we have to think about these are all things explained in Ashtanga Hridayam. These are all things explained in Charaka Samhita. We are over alert. It is not like that. So all these aspects are to be, and interestingly, you see the entire idea of Adura Vrittam and Swastha Vrittam is spinning around this core concept of how to make the Kala Artha Karma as far as the yoga with Purusha is concerned, Samyag. how to make the engagement of a Purusha with the Kala, Artha and Karma Samyag. That is the whole story of Swastavritta, and how to make the engagement of a Purusha with Kala, Artha and Karma, which has already been pushed away from the Samyak Yoga to the different levels of Hina Yoga, Abhiyoga or Mithya Yoga, and bring them back to Samyak Yoga is the whole story of Adhiravatta. Very simple. But while you are trying to put this into practice, we have to be very keen. And please understand and trust me that this is what Ayurveda is. This is the beauty of Ayurveda is. And it is in this context that we say our clinical practice should be accommodating all these ideas. So it is not just about two lines. Kalarthakarmanam yogo hina mithyadi matragaha samyag yogasya vitneyo rogarogye karanam. It is not about chanting these two lines religiously, but to bring them to the clinical table and making the individual, making the world aware that these are going to be the critical factors that we have to take care of. So I think we have discussed something else, something extra today about the broader perspective of importance of Nimitta Karana, and again that beautiful idea Jayande Hedu Vaishamyadu Vishama Deha Dhadavaha Hedu Samyad Samaha. Jayande Hedu Vaishamyadu Vishamaha Deha Dhadavaha Hedu Samyad Samaha. This is what the karma of, or the duty of dharma of a Vaidya, to make this sort of a change in the lives of the persons around. So with that, I conclude today's session. Thank you very much for being with me in this travel. Yes, one chat has popped up. Let me see what it is. Is still Hina Yoga of Kaya and Vak for those who used to do meditation continuously for years? Would it have caused any problems? That is a beautiful question, because at one point we find that the Vishamanga Kriyarambha, whether it is mentioning about the Yoga Abhyasa. See, we are talking about Ayurveda, which is Dharmartha Sukha Sadhanam. At that level, this is not about Moksha Karanam. So this is purely worldly affairs. There are certain practices which are primarily focusing about affairs which are beyond this world. And they are going through such a rigorous training from step by step. It is not all about just going to the meditation primarily. And if somebody was not doing so, all of a sudden you find that some person starts sitting in meditation all of a sudden and is getting disconnected. Definitely look into that person about the Hina Yoga of Vak, and also look for whether there is Hina Yoga or Mithya Yoga of Manas as well. And you will be it will be quite interesting to find that sometimes it may be something going wrong with that person. So as far as this Dharmartha Sukha Sadhanam Ayurvedam is concerned, you have to have a selective approach into all these things. Then some other idea, can you give examples of how you use this in practical way? Definitely. Whether I do not know whether I'll be spending a whole session to explain how I practice these things, but definitely I'll be. Then whether Raga, Dvesha, etc. can be a Purva Rupa for upcoming Manasika Vyadhis. Definitely, and Raga, Dvesha themselves are explained as Agantuja Vikaras. They are causing Vikara, and they themselves are Vikaras. We cannot prevent the Mithya Yoga of Kala. Any way to protect ourselves from these influences? Yes, that is what Rutucharya is about. Even in the treatment, we find that Kritva Shidoshna Vrishtinam Pradikaram Yatha Yadham Prayojet Kriyam Praptam Kriya Kalam Nahabhed. It is there. It is there. You and Ritucharya tu Shidoshna Vristidosha Pratikriya. What is Ritucharya? It is the Pratikriya for the dosha of the Shita, Ushna and Vrishti. So I think if you look at 3 chapters, Dinacharya, Ritucharya and Roganutpadaniyam, you will be finding the practical applications of all those things what we were discussing about these things. There is one more. Yeah. So according to what was taught today, should not bringing awareness to the patient about the Hina Mithyadi Yoga. They are doing be the first part of the Chikitsa. Yes. Sankshepada Kriya Yoga Nidana Parivarjanam. Right. So I'm stopping. I'm not going through the detail and more chats today. Please post all these chats in the group. Thank you very much. So I'm calling it a day. Bhishayam sadhu vrittanam bhadram agamasalinam abhyastakarmanam bhadram bhadram bhadra abhyashinam. Thank you very much.